Viviana Vargas here. Today I will be telling you a little bit about the flipped classroom. The flipped classroom is a new model of teaching, a new approach, if you may, that has not been around for very long. Nevertheless, the model in itself has made a great impact on not only the teachers but as well on the students, or more importantly on the students that have been part of the classrooms where the model has been implemented. As I was doing my research to present the information to you, I decided that what I could do best would be to actually use those tools that they are recommending within the model teachers use in order to present the content to their students. Right now, I will be showing you some of the material that other fellow colleagues have created, either as part of their classrooms or as part of their research, as a means to understand a little bit more about the method, the model itself, and figure out if it's the way to go in their classrooms. So without adding anything else, let's get started right now.
Every day, 7.2 million students walk into classrooms throughout the United States. These classrooms generally look the same. 30 students sit in rows of desks, taking notes in their notebooks, while the teacher stands at a whiteboard teaching a lesson. Regardless of ability level, each student receives the exact same information at the exact same pace. As Ms. Jackson presents this same material, the students respond differently. Tommy gets it, while Allison is bored, and Maria is lost. At the end of the day, these same students head home. While at home, they sit at the kitchen table doing their homework and trying to remember what Ms. Jackson said. Students like Tommy make it most of the way through the homework, while others, like Allison, find it easy and fly through it. At the same time, students like Maria get frustrated and need some extra help. Ms. Jackson recognizes that students have different needs and would love to work individually with each student, but this requires time and resources that her school does not have. One solution to this problem is the flipped classroom. Here's what it looks like. While at home, students sit in their rooms watching videos of the lesson that Ms. Jackson assigned. Tommy is still able to work at his normal pace. Allison is no longer bored because now she can use this new technology to fast forward through the easy material. And Maria is no longer frustrated because she can review the material that she didn't understand by pausing and rewinding. When she really gets stuck, she can get help from her classmates. New technology platforms like Moodle and Edmodo make it easy for her to chat online with her classmates. Just as the homework is different, the classroom is different as well. Instead of standing in front of the room speaking, Ms. Jackson walks around the room. She checks in with Tommy as he works collaboratively with some students. She pushes Allison further with some more challenging work. And she helps Maria with the pieces that she still doesn't quite get. In the traditional model, the teacher stands between the students and the knowledge. But with the flipped classroom model, the students have direct access to the knowledge, and the teacher serves as a coach, mentor, and guide, helping the students access this knowledge. The flipped classroom leverages technology in a way that lets both Ms. Jackson and the students make the most of their time and efforts.
I'm back again to tell you a little bit about how the flipped classroom started. In 2007, Jonathan Bergman and Aaron Sams had a common goal in mind: to find what was best for their students. Both teachers were the chemistry teachers, or the chemistry department as a matter of fact, in their rural school in Woodland Park, Colorado. They were very interested in providing the students with the best tools to make learning easier and more effective. They started recording or pre-recording their lessons for students that for one reason or another could not attend their lessons. They didn't want to leave them behind, so they would allow the students to actually view the pre-recorded lessons at home in order to keep up with the lessons. Soon enough, they realized actually that other students from other classes and even teachers from other classes were using their videos to reinforce the content of their classrooms as well as a studying resource. It was then that they realized that if students were able to view the content of the class at home, then during actual class time they were going to have so much more time available for practicing on the content that the students had already viewed at home, and that would allow them basically to reinforce the learning process. And like that, totally unplanned, because it wasn't anything they had in mind as an idea, the flipped classroom was born. So I would like you now to leave you with Aaron Sams in a short clip about his experience.
I'm Aaron Sams. We're here in Woodland Park, Colorado at Woodland Park High School. Flipped learning, I think, on a really basic level is taking what has traditionally been given in a lecture in terms of direct instruction and shifting that out of the class time, and then using that recuperated time more wisely, more valuably to really meet the individual learning needs of students. The way I got started doing this is I just started recording my lessons live for my students who were missing class and posting those online for them as a resource. They get to access it when they want to, and that could be at 10 o'clock at night, it could be 6 o'clock in the morning, it could be on the bus to the soccer game. They have control of that. Students would watch those before they came to class, and then class time was work time, engaging in some higher order thinking, and so we didn't have to use our class time for direct instruction. We could shift that out of the class.
There's a site where we go to and we watch our podcast, and it has like all the units.
And during the class period, we're doing labs and applying the skills that we learned at home.
I wish more people would do the flipped classroom. I think it definitely works for every speed of learner.
If a student is a fast learner, they can go through the material as quickly as they want. The slower learners, the students who struggle, they have control of the rate at which they learn the material. So they can pause the teacher, they can rewind the teacher, they can view it multiple times if they need to. If everyone's not doing the same thing at the same time on the same day, my class looks a little chaotic. It looks like a three-ring circus of learning is what I call it. I also give them the option, if they don't want to take my test, to demonstrate their understanding in some other way. So I have students making video games, writing comic books, creating art projects. So yeah, the sky's the limit. Whatever they want to do, as long as they can prove to me that they get it, that they're learning, that they understand these things, and it's good enough for me. There's a school in Michigan that has adopted this instructional model for all of their core classes. What they're seeing there is that their failure rates have gone from like in the 40% down to single digits. So that's pretty remarkable there. One of the concerns that educators are really wrestling with these days is the fact that we are preparing our students for jobs that don't exist yet. And I really see flipped learning as a tool that teachers can leverage to help students learn to think, learn to access information when they need it, and to be able to process it in a meaningful way. So I might not be training my kids for a specific job, but I'm giving them the tools, the ability to think and the process and the problem solve that they will need for whatever they end up doing.
So we have now reached a better understanding of what the flipped classroom is all about. But there's still the need to answer one question, and that is, how do students really benefit from the flipped classroom? What really is in it, in the core of the flipped classroom? And I will quote Mr. Jonathan Berkman and Aaron Sams, and what they say is the main point about the flipped classroom. It's not all about the videos, it's not all about the students doing homework during class time and doing reviewing content at home, but the one unifying characteristic of all flipped classrooms is the desire to redirect the attention in a classroom away from the teacher and onto the learners and the learning process. And that is right there the key. I want to leave you now with Mrs. Jackie Gerstein and a small clip by her that is called An Illustration of Flipped Classroom.
The full picture, as it's being discussed here, is not about watching videos as homework. It becomes a fuller, deeper cycle of learning with personal connections to the content as well as to the bigger learning community. The learning tasks become engaging, relevant, authentic, joy-producing. These can include working with friends, the use of technology, project-based learning, making real-world connections, using physical movement, student choice, and visuals. It has its foundations in an experiential cycle of learning, and this cycle has been tweaked to include modern-day technologies such as video lectures, internet resources, and Web 2.0 tools. It begins with an experience such as a game, a simulation, an experiment, a community project, an art activity, and then it leads to concept exploration. This is the what, and this is explored through watching videos, listening to podcasts, visiting websites, or engaging in online chats. The online resources, these videos and websites, they support and strengthen the learning. The flip comes as they become a support rather than central to the learning, as well as they're put into the learner's hands for their own control and access and viewing. There are a lot of online resources and that you've probably heard of: Khan Academy, YouTube, iTunes University, TED Talks, or the educator can create his or her own talks and explanations via screen capture tools. Then comes meaning making from the experiences and the concepts that were covered. This is known as the so what. Reflections occur through blogging, video reflections, voice reflections, photo essays. And then it ends with how will all this learning be demonstrated and applied. This is known as the now what. It's the big overreaching learning. The learners answer questions such as how can I show others what I've learned, and how will I apply what I've learned to other areas of my life. This occurs through an authentic audience. And because it is a cycle of learning, the cycle goes on and on through these phases.